A minister gets dragged to court by a civil rights organization for renaming a 240-year-old town without asking anyone. The foreign minister calls Donald Trump a white supremacist on an international stage and somehow makes South Africa look even worse in the process than what he was trying to achieve. And finally, a prominent South African journalist publishes a whole article. She literally sat down and wrote this down, essentially saying that poor black children in rural areas should not have free internet from space called Starlink because of the person who is offering it. So she doesn't beef with the internet, she beefs with Elon, and that's why she believes that many poor kids in South Africa shouldn't get free internet because I hate Elon. That's the country we live in. Welcome back to the most entertaining and most informative South African show in the country. I'm your host, the Summer Sambit, and we are not holding back. Before we get into it, if this show adds value to your understanding of how nonsensical South African politics have become and social affairs, please like, share, and subscribe. It is free. It's free. And it means absolutely everything to me and the channel. So if you want to support this work, if you want to support this movement, you can also donate by buying me a coffee. Links in the description below. Thank you for all your donations, those who have donated. I see you. I acknowledge you. Love you guys. Let's go. So Afriforum is dragging Gayton Mckenzie to court, right? Afriforum have become these political hitmen. They are these prominent politicians on their hit list. First it was Fikile Mbalula, then it was Malema. Now Gayton Mckenzie is next on Afriforum's political hit list. They are like the John Wick of politics. But I need to tell you about a town called Graaff-Reinet. That's how it all starts. You see, Graaff-Reinet is one of the oldest towns in South Africa. It was established in 1786, 240 years ago. It sits in the heart of the Karoo, where many UFOs were reported to have been seen. It's a history so layered: Dutch settlers, the Khoi people, the Xhosa frontier wars, the Afrikaner cultural heritage, the true origins of the Afrikaner language, the story of Robert Sobukwe himself, who grew up nearby there, actually, fun fact. That's it. The history of that place is so complex, it represents something genuinely complex and genuinely South African. You know what I mean? It's a place of very rich history that we hold dearly to our hearts. So on the 6th of February 2026, Gayton Mckenzie, Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, former armed robber, gazetted the renaming of Graaff-Reinet to Robert Sobukwe Town, along with 20 other place names in the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, in one gazette notice. Afriforum saw this and said, yeah, no, Mckenzie, you wildin'. So now they're taking him to the High Court in Pretoria to have that decision reviewed and set aside. You see, before anyone reaches for the race card and starts using race politics against me, let me tell you why Afriforum's argument deserves to be heard on its merits. Because a lot of people are going to be like, ugh, look at Afriforum, the white party, telling the guy with more African roots that he can't change the name of the place. Racism. Relax. The South African Geographical Names Council Act provides for objections to be lodged within 30 days of the publication of a name change. You probably didn't know that, did you? Afriforum's objection is based on the fact that the Eastern Cape provincial policy on naming and renaming of geographical features emphasizes that the name changing of places of particular historical significance should only be, listen, should only be considered in exceptional circumstances. So in the case of Graaff-Reinet, which has had this name since its establishment 240 years ago, no such exceptional circumstances could be found. Listen to that carefully. Replay that part of the video if you must. So this is not about whether Robert Sobukwe deserves to be honored. He does deserve to be honored. Absolutely. He was one of the most principled and intellectually formidable figures in South African liberation history. Fact. Okay, arguably more intellectually honest than many of the people who get stadiums named after them today. There are streets named after Winnie Mandela. We are forgetting about people like Robert Sobukwe. Another story for another day. But this is about process. It's about consultation, about whether a minister can gazette 21 name changes at once, affecting communities, affecting businesses, affecting tourism infrastructure and historical identity, without meaningful engagement with the people who actually live there. You can't just go to a place and say, all right, we're changing the name of the city. And the people who've lived there forever, have a history with that place, have nostalgia about that place, haven't been told about it, and all they hear is, oh, your city's name is changing. That's all. So now you understand Afriforum's point. A municipal survey found that most residents opposed the proposed name change also. So the people who lived there, once they heard about it, when they bothered to tell them, they actually said, no, why? Why change it? We've got a lot of other things to worry about us. We want to change city names. Petitions and protest actions against the move have received strong public support since the announcement, believe that or not. Residents are actually worried about the financial impact of the name change at a time when the town's infrastructure still needs urgent attention. They're not fixing the roads or the hospitals there. They want to change the name of the place. Changing the name of the place could further negatively affect tourism, which actually plays a major role in South Africa's economy, especially that local economy. And debates around the proposed change have caused divisions within the community instead of promoting unity, as the government should be promoting. So the people who actually live in Graaff-Reinet, including the black residents, are opposed to this. The financial impact on a struggling rural economy is a documented concern. And the minister, Mckenzie, just gazetted it anyway. He didn't care. Now, let's talk about Gayton Mckenzie specifically, because he is a whole rabbit hole in himself. I want to be fair to Gayton. He is one of the more interesting political figures in South Africa, if you get what I mean. This is a man who went to prison for armed robbery, rebuilt his entire life and branding completely, became a minister in a national unity government. That is genuinely a remarkable personal story. Who wouldn't be inspired by such a story? I mean, if he could do it, come on now. But this decision reveals something about just how power operates in South Africa, regardless of who holds it. What am I talking about? You see, the moment you have ministerial authority, the temptation to use it without adequate consultation apparently becomes irresistible. Why do I say this? Gayton Mckenzie has spent years positioning himself as the different kind of politician, right? He's the man of the people. He can relate to the poorer communities. He was in the poor communities. He was an armed robber. He was part of the gangs. He can relate to you guys. He's the practical problem solver who understood what ordinary South Africans needed. And then he gazettes the renaming of a 240-year-old town without asking the people who live there what they even bothered to think. There is infrastructure crumbling in the Karoo. The Karoo is struggling. There are water shortages. There are roads that need fixing. There are schools that need resources. And the minister, Gayton Mckenzie, uses his time and authority to change a name that most residents didn't ask to have changed during a cost of living crisis that is destroying ordinary South African families. That is a priorities problem, folks, and the court case by Afriforum is the consequence.
This quaint town is South Africa's fourth oldest town. Founded in 1786, it was named after the governor of the Cape Colony, Cornelius Jacob van der Graaf, and his wife. Originally established as a trading post, Graaff-Reinet formed part of the colonial expansion inland from the Cape. Now, more than 2 centuries later, that history is being re-examined.
We must never forget when it comes to the South African history context, colonialism, apartheid. People were honored by using their name for certain places, for mountains, for rivers, and so forth. So they were honored by doing that. And you must remember that built in a name is also the victor versus the victim. the conqueror versus the conquered. You understand? So that is what is built within the South African political, geographical things. You know, we must never forget we come from an apartheid era.
Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, founder of Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, was born here in 1924. For many, this name change to honor him represents an overdue correction of history.
Robert Sobukwe has been a freedom fighter, has been a hero. There are some other places and streets in the location that has been named after him. So I don't see any problem. I think it's a good thing, so that he can also be remembered as a person who fought for the freedom that we're enjoying.
I'm delighted, especially with the black community, that Graaff-Reinet now, or rather our town, is named after one of our own, the son of Graaff-Reinet, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe. So the kind of change that it is going to come up with is that people will start to identify with the name, because it is named, as I've said already, after one of our own. We will start knowing ourselves that we belong to this town, because there's a perception, especially amongst the white community, that we blacks do not belong to this town.
Not everybody is aware of the coming changes, whilst many were not willing to air their views.
We're not against Robert Sobukwe, but we are not a Xhosa community. The majority of people here are Afrikaans speaking, and we have our culture, and we don't agree that the government can decide for the whole country what the culture of that area should be.
The renaming follows a formal process guided by the South African Geographical Names Council.
Go to the people and have public participation, which means we must go inform the people about someone that have applied through an application form to change a name. So then we call the stakeholders together of that particular area, inform them to go inform their constituency. After they inform their constituency, we have a meeting with the broader community or municipality that are affected by that name change.
For the Sobukwe family, the announcement is savoured as long overdue recognition.
That process, and we hold high hopes of, the confirmation of everything. And it has been an honor, to finally have him recognized and, the name changed, to bring him into the light again, because he has been silenced, not only by the previous rulers, but our current ones as well.
The 21 proposed name changes are yet to be gazetted and will only be revealed at that stage. Once gazetted, they will be subject to public comment before the changes are legally effected. Sisipho Ncumbe, SABC News.